worst matchup for KT in this league, just because Duke is such a strong laner.
That's right. Well, here we go. Picks and bans for game number 1 between Najin, mFire, and KT Rolster, Azir, and Kalista. The first 2 bans.
Are they going to ban the Cassiopeia, which Goong played in both games last time, especially since Duke is not going to be playing Ryze? And Najin, it was a bit interesting. We saw them recently kind of get suckered into picking the Ryze and prioritizing it very heavily, and that came back to bite them.
Yeah, they're certainly not going to be first picking it after the losses on that Ryze earlier. There is a Cassiopeia ban. So Goong will have to play something a little bit different, which shouldn't really hurt him too much.
He'll probably just pick Victor. There, of course, is the Gragas ban. Very necessary against Watch. Do you take Rek'Sai here? Do you take
Sivir, Alistar?
I mean, Watch likes to play Evelynn. I think Alistar probably... Alistar or Sivir, you'd have to think are going to be the choice. I'd take Sivir just because you're against KT. But
I would take Alistar.
They're going to take Alistar.
I feel like Sivir is such a waste on OQ, you know? Put him on something that can make plays. You know?
But KT is so crippled without Sivir that...
that's a good point. Yeah. I suppose. Well, getting the Alistar is nice, too. I'd imagine this is going to be Renekton Sivir here. And Watch will probably pick up the Evelynn then in that case.
I hope it's not Renekton.
I don't think they're going to pick that one early.
No, I think they're going to take the Victor away. I think Victor Sivir here is going to be a pretty attractive draft.
Now, I mean, Edge has been playing mostly Victor, but he's also been mostly losing on Victor as well. So how strong of a pick really is this for KT? It seems like it's more of a takeaway from Goong.
You know, and the big difference that I saw in Score's play style between when Edge has been playing and when Nagne has been playing is that Nagne typically doesn't get very many ganks. Score doesn't really focus on the mid lane. Nagne is a very safe player. He just kind of does his thing, farms up, that's whatever. But when Score has been playing with Edge, he ganks the mid lane a lot more. And I feel like he's kind of babysitting Edge to a certain degree. And that's taking his focus away from getting someday ahead, which is typically how the KT Rolster organization actually wins games.
That's a good point. If you put him on a champion like Victor, though, where he can stay back a little bit, farm a bit safer, maybe that will free up Score to pay a little bit more attention to the top lane. Now, will we see Duke? Okay, looks like it might be Rumble Rek'Sai, and it will be locked in. And I don't really feel like Watch having to play Rek'Sai instead of Eve really hurts Najin too much.
Well, I mean, he's not the best Rek'Sai player. Definitely prefers Evelynn when he can get it, but at least he has the Rek'Sai. He's got the Tremor Sense on the Eve, so Score picked into this matchup very deliberately. And there is the Gnar.
All right, and the Janna for Peekaboo as well, too. Peekaboo, of course, spending a lot of time with Wolf on SKT, who is a great roaming Janna player, no doubt, partially because of Peekaboo's advice.
Now you have to imagine that KT is going to round out their roster with a poke AD carry, possibly a Corki if they can get it. OQ may just snag that away. And are they going to play the Kassadin into the Victor? Always a champion that Goong is comfortable in, and it will be.
Okay. How do you feel about that matchup?
I think it's fine. I think that you still lack a little bit of wave clear on Najin's side, so they have to be very cautious about how they approach this. If I'm KT right now, I think Lucian is a very strong pick so that you can abuse the Corki in lane and then get his tower down and start pressuring mid as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah, oh boy. I feel like he's going to switch this over to Vayne, but we'll see. Although Sivir is still available.
A lane bully is a really good opportunity here. Actually, the Draven is not a bad choice. You know, we don't see it very often. It requires snowballing, but he's got a lot of peel with that Janna, and he can do a lot of damage in a 2v2.
10 seconds left. Is he going to lock it in?
Oh,
Kog'Maw, okay.
Yep, but that's another long-range AD carry where you can actually just siege. So he'll be able to win the matchup early on as well. We did see a Kog'Maw in last night's games. Fury did very well on it. And Kog'Maw Janna is a difficult lane for a Corki because you get poked out so easily by the Bio-Arcane Barrage. It's exactly what we saw Samsung doing yesterday.
Yeah. Now, I wonder, though, how vulnerable do you think they are to just getting jumped on, too? You know, if Peekaboo uses that Whirlwind, doesn't hit anybody with it, Pure can respond by just diving in onto Arrow, potentially. Yeah,
I mean, you have the Monsoon, that as soon as you hit level 6 to disengage from the Alistar. But you know, there's not a ton of peel here, clearly, with the Evelyn on the jungle who's going to need to engage with Someday's follow-up on the Gnar, but they have a lot of damage threats for the late game. Najin, of course, going to be looking to get into that backline. They have the Equalizer, and the Equalizer's very good against Victor and Kog'Maw, who have no way to get off of it quickly. They just have to run.
Yeah.
So you're guaranteed to take some damage right there.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, Najin beat KT so thoroughly, lane by lane last time, that you really think that KT is going to need to come with something just much better across the board to try to even make a dent against Najin.
Yeah.
That's a lot to ask for after only 5 days.
Especially with Edge, who's still so new.
Yeah. Well, it is time, guys. Game number 1, Najin mFire versus KT Rolster. Let's get in the game and see who takes it. And welcome to Summoner's Rift, Najin mFire versus KT Rolster. Kassadin kind of has like a jolly bob as he walks through the jungle. He's kind of floating slash walking. It looks like he's kind of moving his legs, though, underneath his robe,
he just
skirt,
likes to,
whatever you want to call it.
He just likes to groove while he floats, you know?
If you're floating, would you like move your legs like you're walking?
Yeah,
just to confuse people?
It looks like he would get seasick, just floating like that, constantly bobbing up and down.
I know, right?
And you can't throw up in that mask, dude. It makes a mess.
Oh, dude, yeah, like it's stuck in the tubes and all that. That takes forever to watch out. Man, maybe just take some Dramamine before every match, you know?
Before he moves anywhere.
That's true.
In the world.
He could just walk normally. Might just be showing off, you know? Some fans happy the Peekaboo is back. Back for his old team's rival team, interestingly enough.
He's a telecom trader, Doha.
That's right. He would like to change his long-distance service.
All right, so deep wards in. We are going to see the lanes. KT really wanted to get this 2v2. You can see they detect the duo lane onto the ward, immediately heading down to the bottom side of the map. Interesting invade here. Now they know that nobody from Najin is in the bottom side jungle due to that ward placement. We're seeing that configuration of wards more frequently these days. So it will be just a buff steal. Cute little move.
Yeah, we'll see if that leads to 3 buff for KT early on. It could. Yeah, do you think they'll move right over to the other red?
We'll see what they do. It looks like they just want to go for the Raptors right now, but there's definitely an opportunity for Najin to go ahead and take the enemy red. They're pinging it right now. They don't necessarily know what's going on, but they should strongly suspect.
Somebody really wants this Raptor. They'll barely get it.
That is.
And if Goong only knew, if Goong knew he was down there, he could just go and breathe on him, get first blood.
That is a little risky.
I know. What if somebody comes through the brush, right by the Raptor pit?
I don't agree with that. That is like needlessly risky right there.
Someday likes to live dangerously.
He definitely does like to live dangerously. I cannot argue with that.
Change his name to Some Danger.
Some Danger Day.
Some Danger. Danger Day.
That's his middle name.
Some Danger Day. Put danger in quotes in the middle. Here comes Score for an early gank in bot lane. Just going to try to put some damage in onto these guys.
Yep, not going to show though, so they have no idea that Evelyn was even there. Najin not playing aggressively enough to really justify that, and they won't either. I mean, Arrow's just going to have a pretty easy time on this Kog'Maw. Poking them out. You can see there's not really any possible response there for Mokyu.
Yeah, Peekaboo doing a good job of really aggressively auto-attacking as well. Getting that gold with the Spell Thief's Edge.
Got to make the money from,
that's right.
from hitting cows.
Yep. Many do.
Really? Many do?
I think so.
Hitting cows is animal abuse, Noah.
Well, you humanely hit them, and then you humanely cut them into steaks, and I humanely eat them. Works out pretty well. Humanely. Let's see what happens in this mid lane with Goong and Edge. Edge is pushed up pretty far, and without a lot of wards to protect him, that could end up being a little bit risky, but Watch isn't exactly the most aggressive ganker ever, so given the matchup, he may not have to be too worried.
Yeah, he's not doing a lot, though, in terms of getting deep wards in or really seeing what's going on with the KT team. He's had some opportunities. Of course, KT playing a bit fast and loose.
Why not?
Carry rating. It's, by the way, that is damage plus damage dealt plus damage received divided by the number of minutes in a game for top laners.
Hooray, math.
I know it's your favorite, Doa.
I love it.
One of your greatest skills.
Man, do I love math. My favorite character in Jurassic Park, Ian Malcolm, by far. Because I love math.
And you love chaos. I know you love chaos.
Life finds a way. You know?
So you saw a score right there in the jungle with the Tremor Sense. Just going to pop a ward down, so you know exactly where Evelyn is as he clears out the Krugs. And that's going to be just about it for the moment. Goong doing absolutely fine in this lane. Still has a ton of pots. I mean, Edge has really put zero pressure onto this Kassadin so far. Full HP, and Goong couldn't be happier right now.
Oh, nice. Oh, I thought he denied it. Hit him with the auto, but it wasn't quite quick enough. Well, score coming in now. A little bit of pressure onto Goong, see if they can do some damage there. Goong just going to turn with the slow. Edge misses his death laser. Aw.
The death ray.
Death ray.
Sad. So sad. But not really a very effective gank there from Score, and not a whole lot of kill pressure with zero crowd control coming into the Kassadin. Goong doesn't have to burn flash. He doesn't even have Rift Walk to get out of that, and that was a pretty sad gank.
Yeah, well, that's called a pre-6 Evelyn gank, man.
Well, I mean, he has a choice here. Right?
Oh, Pure getting caught. There's the exhaust, knock up on the Score. They're going to try to make a play here. Pure has the flash. He's already so low, though. That is certainly going to be first blood, and it goes over to Edge, grabbing that one with the Chaos Storm.
Yep, very punishing. Pure goes up, tries to get into the jungle. Now Duke just going to clear out the wave right now with the equalizer. Uh-oh.
Oh, Someday going in. Wow, he's so low. Ultimate gets wall, about to go to Meganar, and Someday may be able to get the 1v1 here. Duke on the run, and there's the Q from Someday to finish him off. A great solo kill, and some representatives from KT here. That's actually the executive vice president of the baseball team.
Yeah, it does.
Here to watch.
Works with a lot of the sports teams, and of course
Yep.
the esports team operated by KT. So
yeah,
Duke right there. I don't know what Duke was thinking. Someday was about to go Meganar, and he dropped that equalizer.
Yeah.
So kind of got what he deserved in that situation, honestly, because if we take a look at this, drops the equalizer, starts to just clear out the wave. Duke is not expecting an all-in, but Someday sees that he's about to go Meganar. He sees Duke is overheated, just like, screw it, I'm going.
Yeah.
Gets the HP from the Meganar form, and then really easy cleanup. So a strangely sloppy play, but Someday taking advantage of the situation as it's presented to him.
Really not a lot to be worried about in that situation if you're Someday.
And most of the time, this Gnar Rumble matchup hinges on when Gnar gets the Hex Drinker. Gnar is not very strong before he gets a little more damage and a little more MR in this matchup. And once he gets that item, that's when it really starts to go in favor of Gnar. But he's going to get that kill before he even had a Hex Drinker. Go back, pick it up. So I'd imagine this isn't going to go too well for Duke.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit rough. He's got his Haunting guys, but again, that's not going to matter a whole lot if Someday wants to keep the pressure on. Goong just popping over the wall to take that blue buff. And so, aside from a couple early kills for KT, things pretty passive, but already some things that Najin needs to be a bit worried about.
Yeah, I mean, Najin has a decent mid game here. They have a pretty smooth power curve with the Corki and Rumble into the late game Kassadin. Bit worried that MR will be overly effective on them, considering that they do have the Corki alongside double AP. But Goong's a very good Kassadin player, and KT has two low mobility carries in Victor and Kog'Maw. And considering that they're top in jungle,
Here comes Score, trying to catch Watch here. Can he do anything? Maybe steal this red buff. Edge thought about coming down, turned around because Goong followed. I think the red buff was taken. Yeah, it was taken by Score, it looks like.
yeah, and this is good play from Score. Notice that they keep invading the mid lane because Najin doesn't have any pressure. And Najin's kind of misplaying around this right now. They've allowed the wards to get deep into their own jungle. Pure was trying to get wards across the river when they have a Kassadin in the mid lane. They cannot play this way with how much pressure Edge is putting on right now.
Yeah, in the meantime, Peekaboo has been able to help Arrow stay relevant, if not ahead in CS anyway. Poking pretty well.
Yeah, and Watch just hasn't been able to find any ganks so far. He hasn't even tried, just been farming this entire time.
Yeah. And you got to wonder if that Evelyn pick was really a big takeaway after all. I mean, Watch has played mostly Eve this season. A little bit of the other junglers, but that's about it. He may come in now. We'll see.
You're
if
a
he decides to come in from the
They
side.
really want to dive this with the cast in. Definitely a good plan. They know Peekaboo's there in the brush now. They're going to back off. However, it's a bit of a surprise. I think they definitely could have made a play right there with Goong.
Well, yeah, with no Peekaboo there, you'd think it would have been pretty easy to actually get in and take out this Kog'Maw quickly.
They could also just do Dragon right now. There was the recall from Peekaboo, and then Victor no longer in lane, so they had every opportunity to do a 3-man Dragon right there.
And they had wards, too, so they would have been able to see if anyone was coming in.
Bit of a strange call.
Well, Najin's certainly looking a little bit apprehensive at the beginning of this game. They look a bit scared.
Yeah, I think they're just worried about the deep wards in their own jungle, and so they don't want to be the first team to really commit to anything. Also, OQ hasn't backed yet at 11 minutes into this game.
Yeah, I suppose Arrow hasn't either.
That would have been a very slow Dragon. Never mind. So, it would have been risky.
Maybe that's part of the idea not to dive Arrow too, as well.
Yeah, definitely, probably a contributing factor. Pure.
I mean, then again, Arrow hadn't backed either, so he would have been pretty vulnerable.
Well, yeah, but the problem is that if Arrow backs, he may not get more HP or anything like that, so he's always pretty much going to be as squishy as he is now. Maybe he gets a phage or something, but
Could be.
The real thing is how fast can you kill Arrow, and with 0 items, the answer is not very fast.
And that leads us to a pretty passive early mid-game here, I suppose.
Sunday's getting his lead, and he's that carry force on this KT team, and OQ, just not that same kind of advantage yet. We have to see if he can get a big edge that will allow him to carry. OQ actually going for Blade first.
Wow. That's something we almost never see. Strange, and I mean, do you think it was maybe just to grab a power spike right before the Dragon? Because if it was, he's going to be disappointed that the Dragon's already gone.
I don't know why he would get that item right now. Maybe he just had enough gold for it, but that is a bit weird. I think he must, the logic behind this, he must be very worried about getting poked out by Arrow, and he wants the sustain. And also, Someday is ahead and is going to be building tank stats, but doesn't have any armor yet. He's been stacking MR. So this actually makes him much more of a threat to Someday, but I mean, it's not...
Well, they're not lane swapping or anything.
Right.
Interesting.
Curious.
Yeah, they're going to see that the Dragon's gone, too. I mean, right when that weak recall happened, KT went back and took it pretty easily.
There is a lot of MR stacking on KT, so that could... He just may want to just maximize his attack damage at the moment, but of course he's going to do a ton of attack damage with Trinity Force, too. So that is a bit of a head scratch. We'll see how he uses it.
Well, OQ playing the dueling playmaking Corki. That's the answer.
Split push Corki.
Hey, if anyone would do it, it would be OQ.
That is true. The split push Corki, very interesting. I am looking forward to seeing how this build develops.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it does help him go toe-to-toe with Arrow better. Helps him sustain off those minions if he takes damage. Does make sense in that regard.
Yep, and the invades begin. Onto the blue buff. Someday just using the Gnar bar and the Rage Timer. Take that away. That's a very good takeaway for KT. They're playing around this Kassadin really well so far, not only in terms of warding and scores invades, there's the buff steals because the lack of pressure in the mid lane and the fact that this Kassadin needs a long time just to ramp up. as the Rod of Ages.
And Duke wasn't really able to do a lot of damage to the turret or anything like that in return.
Oh, well, no. I mean, he's getting pushed around right now by Sumday's Gnar. He fell behind in lane, and that gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It was then, you know, started 20 CS a few minutes ago, now up to over 30.
Yeah, CS lead growing a little bit for OQ too.
So that turret getting pretty low. Same thing in the top side. I mean, Najin has to make a move soon, at least to try and skirmish maybe with the top laner. I think the best thing Najin can do is try and get a gank onto the bottom side and try and dive this turret with the Alistar and have Someday teleport down. That would probably be a nice play for them to go for, and then they can just trade turret for turret in the end if they can lock down Arrow. The Monsoon now is up. That will make things a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, Score throws a ward right in front of Pure as well, too. OQ having to Valkyrie away from that one. Score and watch right there. They've got to turn the tri-brush, so KT knows where Najin is right now. Yeah, Edge is going to be able to get this turret pretty soon, it looks like. Oh, Goon going in onto Edge a little bit, but he's going to turn around. Needs to be careful there. Goon does have Ignite. Edge has Barrier, though.
Yeah, and they can't stop or punish Score for doing this at all. Score's just able to walk up and get a pink ward right there. Watch going to scrap with him, but Peekaboo on the other side.
Oh, Score going in, starting to lay down the damage onto Watch now, and Watch has to flee. Pure coming up to try to help, but it's a little bit too late.
Najin doesn't seem to understand that they do not have control over their jungle right now. They can't just keep doing that because they lose HP, and now there's no defense on the turret.
Yeah, Duke really low up in top lane as well, too, and Someday able to get that turret down to less than half health.
Yeah, and he had to drop Equalizer, which means that he's probably going to have to TP back as well into the top lane. So Someday may just end up with a free TP advantage when the dust settles, and looks like, nope, Duke not going to TP, but that may cost him a tower.
You know, I guess with Dragon coming up in a minute 42, he wants to try to save it for that, but I don't know if it'd be worth trading that first Dragon for Najin for the tower. It looks like they're going to lose it anyway, so it's not even going to be a trade.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be a trade. Duke just backs off of that one, and all of a sudden, mostly due to Najin just falling behind in the laning phase, KT up a pretty significant amount of gold, nearly 4,000. That is very large for almost no action in this game. 2 towers really adding to that total.
Well, this has just been a weird game. You know, Najin just seems unwilling to do anything.
Yeah, and I don't understand what's going on with the Blade of the Ruined King. They're, like I said, they're not respecting KT's mid lane control, and so we've had a first blood happen as a result of that. And Score's been playing well. He's been playing this matchup right. I mean, he's got deep wards in both sides of the jungle. This is going really, really well for KT. They saw the Kassadin pick, and they have punished it super hard.
Yeah, pretty much. And so how do you come back if you're not? You just look for those picks? You just try to fight around Dragon?
You better hope this Kassadin gets really strong in the late game so that you can punish Victor and the Kog'Maw picks. But Kassadin takes so long to ramp up right now that it's really difficult.
Yeah, Najin needs to channel their inner Najin shield and make the game last like 60 minutes or something.
Definitely could be a way to win.
Please don't do that, Najin.
But by that time, KT's going to have even more magic resistance, which is going to help out significant amounts against Najin's composition.
Dragon's back up. Pure got poked out a little bit. But KT overall looking in pretty good position to take this one. OQ maybe in a little bit of trouble. Taking damage from Arrow. He's just going to duel him. Arrow going ahead and moving in. He's still got that summoner heal too. Looks like OQ will be able to get out. Yeah, that was close. Peekaboo and Score were coming down.
Both flashes used right there. So OQ trying to duel with that Blade of the Ruined King. He just wants the 1v1 early with Arrow. Doesn't actually succeed in getting it completed though due to other people showing up.
Oh, speaking of people showing up, Pure getting caught in the tri-brush right now. There's a knock-up from Peekaboo. Teleport coming in, though, and KT backs away. Backs to their own teleport. Goon coming in the side as well, too. This might be Najin's moment. Oh, never mind. Evelyn comes in. Huge Gnar ultimate from Someday. And Arrow just putting tons and tons of damage down. Double kill for Edge as well. with that Chaos Arm, with everything coming out of Victor. And there's a heal to keep Peekaboo and the rest of KT alive under that turret. They're going to take bot turret. They're going to take dragon. They got 4 kills. What a huge moment for KT in this game.
And that is just poor communication from Najin. Not to know that Someday is in Mega Gnar form and is going to be teleporting into that team fight. Because Someday just shows up, doesn't even have to spend any time transforming, just flashes and ults 3 of them into a wall. I mean, you have to make sure your team isn't fighting when this happens. What is this? This should not happen.
This is your team on Gnar. Any questions?
Well, just unlocked right there and then absolutely brutalized by a Chaos Storm Death Ray combo. And that's it. It's just so easy. And now KT with a huge, huge lead.
And Peekaboo with the Flash Whirlwind at the end there to secure that last kill. I like it. He's always been bloodthirsty. Oh, Someday finds Watch in the jungle there. It's a knock-up. Someday gets a stun, and here comes Goong to try to claim this blue buff anyway. Doing the damage onto Someday. Watch gets very low. Someday takes him out. Now it's a 2v2. Peekaboo coming in to help. Can he keep his top alive? Doesn't look like it. Edge and Score coming in. Maybe they can turn this around.
Well, it's Kassadin, so he's going to get out, but
looks that way.
Someday, a little greedy right there.
Maybe a bit.
Goes in, does take out Watch, and he's got a Maw of Malmortius finished already. Just going for the carry build here, Someday.
I like it. I like it, man. I mean, this is what we talked about. They need Someday to carry if they're going to win these games. This is the person that KT depends on to do the damage, to make the plays.
Well, it's also a great split push item, but
yeah,
OQ is really, really dangerous with this play of the Ruined King. He keeps using it to all-in arrow. I love it.
Yeah. That's a good way to handle this Kog'Maw early before some of those early items are done. Now that the Trinity Force, now that the Cutlass is finished for arrow, though, might be a little bit more tough, although that last fight still went OQ's way. Here comes Score. Watch is behind him, though. Yeah, Watch is going to find him. Go right in on the Score. Here comes OQ Valkyring ahead. He's like, oh, I should have saved it to go over the wall.
I
know that's what
angle
OQ
it
is.
diagonally instead.
Yep, that's
right.
What
was I thinking?
He wants to dive in so bad.
I just imagine Zephyr standing behind him saying, like, no OQ.
That's right. I imagine, like, the Spectre of Mach Noon appearing like Obi-Wan Kenobi and just saying, do dive.
Do the dive, OQ.
Do the dive, OQ. Trust your feelings. No one is on the other side of that wall. Oh, wait, there was the whole team. Sorry about that.
Aren't you supposed to be able to use the Force to detect things that you can't normally see?
No, you depend on Obi-Wan for that. He just tells you this stuff, you know? This is a winning lottery ticket.
Wow, this Kassadin has caused Najin so many problems.
KT is just dismantling Najin, too, all across the board. This is like the direct opposite of what we saw less than a week ago. Maybe 5 days can change a lot.
Well, KT is just running a clinic on how to deal with Kassadin. Is really it. I mean, I don't think Kassadin is a very good pick right now for this reason. Score on the Evelyn has just been able to get into the enemy jungle. They've had more. How do you get deep wards into both sides of the enemy jungle? What is your sorcery Score that you're actually able to do this? Because that should not be possible. But that's one of the things that is enabled by the Kassadin pick if Edge plays aggressively in the lane. And Watch has just been seen in his own jungle this entire. He's getting chased around by a wolf spirit right now. I mean, there's nowhere for him to go where he doesn't get seen by KT.
Pretty much. Najin trying to get some semblance of vision back, but there's not a lot they can do. I mean, Arrow's getting some farm, but he's just not where they need him to be yet. He still doesn't have that Blade of the Ruined King. No, actually, that's okay. They've got Someday. They don't need Arrow to do damage.
Exactly.
They've got Edge as well.
They actually don't really need Arrow on a Kog'Maw this game. They
need OQ to get that Trinity Force. That's what Najin needs.
Yeah, well, OQ got it.
He got it. All right, there.
It's completed now,
Thanks.
So at least they'll have that for the next Dragon, especially as Goong also hits his second core item.
Well, I feel like KT can just kind of wait out for this Dragon and see if Najin wants to lose another team fight.
I mean, they are definitely in every possible condition to go ahead and win this game and take all the dragons and really snowball up that objective. Najin has to do something pretty drastic to turn their fortune around.
They're 9,000 gold down right now. They found Watch again. Whirlwind doesn't connect, so they don't get the knock-up. But the lead that KT has means they can just fight this if they want to. Oh, Boom finds score. That's a little bit of damage. Dragging up in less than a minute, though, so KT not wanting to commit to anything too crazy as far as chases go.
Yeah, they don't have to. Just get the wards in. KT playing this game out very methodically. And then take the... Oh, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Nice
Headbutt pulverized. Peekaboo scores. Peekaboo goes down. Ult pushes away the rest of Najin. That gives KT time to catch up. Nice equalizer, though. Wow. Flash is used by KT. Score getting very low. There's a Flash Goon. Picks up 1 kill. He's still low health. Goes down, and OQ can't really make the difference. Someday tried to come in from behind with the teleport. Didn't really find a target, though.
Someday canceled his teleport.
Oh, he did.
So he never even arrived at that fight. So once Duke got there, it was just really easy for them to drop the equalizer and go in. Now, they didn't get that much of an advantage out of that situation, Najin. I mean, it was a small skirmish, but they didn't actually take any objective, and they're still massively behind in this game. So it doesn't really matter that KT lost that fight, but still a mistake from Someday.
And that was really just a nice play from Pure to set up a kill or two. More than anything. And so KT not too worried about taking that dragon right now. They can just kind of wait for everybody to get back before they do it.
Yep. Well, they should, because their jungler isn't there. So need him to get back and get the smite, and then they will be able to take that objective. Someday just sitting there in Mega Gnar form. He's going to be a while before he can actually fight again. They're going to start the dragon anyway.
Yeah, I suppose they can. I mean, Najin not really threatening them anywhere. So why not? Third dragon goes over to KT Rolster. Third in a row now.
Yeah, making it look easy this game. Much more precision than we saw out of KT just 5 days ago. And Najin just, they played so aggressively in their last game, but taking away that Cassiopeia from Goong has kind of caused the team to fall apart because they don't have the strong presence in the middle of the map to control vision.
It's just bizarre, you know, seeing how completely Najin has been picked apart this game.
Well, that's what Kassadin does, you know, and it's why he's a very exploitable champion right now.
Well, I think banning the Cassiopeia, taking away the Victor were very smart decisions for KT. And I wonder what you do when you're Najin next game. If you still try to go for one of these 2 picks, or if you go back to an assassin, perhaps.
Right, and remember that KT will be on the blue side next game, so they will definitely have the freedom to continue banning Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
If they want to.
And first picking Victor away, even if they want to. Doubt we'll see that, but they could.
And, you know, the funny thing, too, is Goong could have picked Ahri here. Absolutely. Into Victor.
Yeah.
He could have picked Zed. He loves playing Zed into Victor.
That's what I was kind of wondering, too. I mean, I feel like if Victor and Cassiopeia are both out of the way, you know, don't you go for one of those default Goong assassin characters?
That's what I would think. That's what I would suspect.
Well, apparently we're both wrong. Swing for Cass. Oh, here we go. KT trying to make a plan to Duke. There's the slow. He flashes out of the whirlwind. He gets away. They got the flash, though, so a win for KT.
And Someday split push. Just going to keep on marching forward. Finally getting some armor. So you can deal with OQ. He's going to hide.
I don't know if that works someday. You're kind of big.
I like how he just hides there. He's like, I wonder if OQ is going to walk in here.
He might. It's an OQ thing to do.
Yeah, he was just seeing if somebody was going to farm the wave so he could chase them down, but not actually going to fool anyone right there.
Yeah, KT continuing to take control of the enemy jungle, too.
Yeah, they've done a great job with their vision this game. That has been on point from KT Rolster.
Oh, this might be a turret. We'll just see if KT can defend it. OQ doing a lot of damage to it, but he's going to have to pull back. KT's just got too much power right now. Oh.
Yeah, Duke simply can't deal with this matchup. It's been going south for him ever since that solo kill early on, and now that he's fallen behind in terms of itemization. Yeah, he's got the Void Staff now, but he doesn't really have a lot of damage to back it up.
So it doesn't take a lot. TP advantage for KT right now as well, too. Dukes is still down for a little bit. There's the teleport for Someday. Just wants to make sure they can secure this Baron. Baron at about half health right now. Najin wants to try to contest this. Watch throwing in that Prey Seeker. Here comes Goong. A lot of damage onto Peekaboo. He goes down anyway. Goong with the kill there. Baron taken by Najin, though. Baron taken by KT, rather. Najin trying to turn things around, but Edge does a little bit too much damage. Another ult from Someday brings Pure in for KT to pick apart. Goong on the run. Gets taken down, though, by Arrow. Duke a little bit late to the party. A lot late to the party. And there's nothing he can really do, so... Well, KT, they lose Peekaboo, but they do take the Baron.
Now, Someday knew that Equalizer was down because it was just used bottom to clear out the wave, so that gave them actually a very preferential team fight around that Baron, considering that Someday had his ultimate still available to him. So Najin really struggling to do much of anything this game. Arrow doesn't have any mana. And back off right there. KT doesn't want to commit too much. Might as well just go spend that gold, get some more items, and then you'll be able to pressure more on the other side. They want to push the waves out first, though. Quite understandable.
Yeah, might as well. Need a little bit of protection while you go back. And that fourth dragon coming up in a minute 30 as well, too. So KT's going to have that Baron buff. They're going to have the lanes pushed while they can pressure dragon at the same time.
Oh,
it's
man.
pretty good.
Peekaboo lost a bunch of stacks of his Magi's, and he got very early into this game because he sacrificed himself for the team getting Baron.
Peekaboo is one of my favorite supports, man. Who's gone for a while, you know, for months, joins the new team, first game back, just picks some Magi's. It's like, all right, yeah.
It's a good item on Jana because you rarely die if you play her properly.
It's true.
Unless you are throwing your body in the way of the enemy team so that your jungler can successfully smite the Baron.
Huh. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Well, good amount of MR as well for KT across the board.
KT can definitely siege harder with this composition. They should just start 4-1 splitting with this Gnar and actually use the Baron buff. Yes, they're worried about the Dragon. Yeah, they want number 4 so they can threaten number 5, but, you know, they haven't done a whole lot with the Baron buff yet, even though they definitely can. Well, the wave clear is so poor from Najin. All they have is Corky Rockets and an Equalizer.
It just looks like KT is just not used to being in this position right now, you know? Not used to being so far ahead. Go for that dragon, and it looks unlikely that Najin's going to try to contest this.
No, they really can't. They have to let him have number 4, and at the very least, buy some time off that Baron buff. And Oki just going to farm out the top side at the moment. They want to push these waves as far back as possible while they know that KT is doing the dragon.
Well, unfortunately for them, bottom lane isn't going to be like that. Arrow's been pushing it the entire time, and now the rest of KT coming down to try to take out the turret farthest from Baron. Yeah, they're going to burn through these pretty quick now.
Yeah, they are. Someday actually going to rotate into the bottom side of the map. That is a bit of a surprise. Could have just waited for that one in mid, but I guess he wants to zone him out with his Mega Gnar form right now. To play a little bit backwards. There's the Equalizer.
Goes down, score a little bit trapped. Arrow manages to get off of it. No follow-up for Najin. And so KT's fine. That turret is nearly dead, too. Oh, Peekaboo gets caught, takes a little bit of damage, but not a lot. Not yet. There goes the inhibitor turret. And KT coming in now. Score gets a little bit low. OQ backing away, dealing the damage with the rockets, but Edge following up with a death ray.
Yeah, they have to be really scared of this Kassadin right now, especially with Score as low as he is. Fortunately, he's invisible.
Yeah, that does help. And inhibitor taken pretty much like a piece of cake for KT.
Taken like a piece of cake.
Yep, just like you pick up a piece of cake and
just take
it.
Just take it.
I don't know. Mixing my metaphors.
Doa confirmed cake thief.
Should make like a Maokai and leave. Yep. I don't think you're going to do a lot of damage to Someday, Goon. Well, slow, methodical pause.
That's
and a slow, methodical end of this game.
That's what we need, a pause right now.
That's right. I didn't think the game was long enough yet, you know?
Watch's gank button was broken in that game.
It's like on
I couldn't gank.
That's right. My gank button doesn't work. Oh, well. When he was a young jungler, he wanted to take some cakes, so they got him an easy gank oven.
That'd be great.
It's bad. Well, Peekaboo's like, oh, man, did the league get this easy when I was gone? I don't know about that, Peekaboo. Don't assume too much.
Every team with Peekaboo wins.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I've learned.
Hey, Peekaboo may not have played in the finals, but he did win it.
He sat there looking quite handsome.
Kind of forlorn at the same time, but also handsome. There you go. And yeah, that dude is the executive vice president for the KT. He specializes in the baseball team, I've been told, but also is involved in other sports.
He dabbles in the esports world. He's come to see the glory of KT someday, carrying out of the top lane.
Ready to drop that baseball thing, whatever that is.
What? That's like it's an old sport, right? I don't know what that is anymore, Doa. I've moved on to the digital world.
You only play digital baseball. I know there's like a Mario baseball game or something like that.
Can I talk about baseball for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
That sport sucks.
It's not as dull as soccer, but it's right up there.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, why would you invent a team game where 90% of the action is between two people, the pitcher and the batter, and then only occasionally does other stuff? It's not even a team sport. It's just like a 1v1 with some guys running around a field for like 10 seconds of the game.
You know, sometimes the ball goes to the guys in the field. And
yeah,
they
I know.
Throw it to each other.
I know, but that happens. That doesn't even happen that often.
Well, it depends on how good the pitcher is, right? Yeah, I suppose.
But see, the intention of the game is for that to never happen.
What's the best non-e-sport in your opinion, then?
What's the best non-e-sport?
Yeah.
I like American football.
Me too.
I know, we're fans.
We are. We're fans. It's true. I also like badminton, the fastest net sport known to man.
Who's your favorite badminton player, Doa?
I don't know any pro badminton. Me,
Exposed.
myself. I am. I didn't say I liked watching badminton. I liked playing badminton. You know, I played basketball for most of my grade and high school career.
Were you a baller, Doa?
I was a forward. I was just taller than all the other kids, so they just threw me the ball, and then I just put it in. It's really easy. I didn't really need to move. I was like a baseball player. We're really working on cultivating our hatred from two specific sports today. Baseball and soccer.
Yeah.
We've worked on soccer in the past, though.
I love tweeting about soccer because it makes the Europeans so mad.
Well, it's like, wow. Well, I mean, at least they've got FIFA. Those seem like good fellows, right?
Yeah. Really
Salt of the earth, those guys.
Solid guys.
Yeah.
You're welcome, good Europeans, for cleaning up FIFA for you.
That's right.
As an American, I will personally take responsibility for that.
In return, though, you have to start calling it soccer. We've saved your sport. Now you have to call it what we call it.
I wish that was
it's only
a
fair.
clause.
It seems very appropriate to me. Duke is nodding. He agrees. He kind of looks like a baseball player. He's not doing anything. He's chewing on something. It's pretty baseball-esque, I think, isn't it?
Sitting there chewing something, waiting for something to happen.
Yep. You know the most exciting part of a baseball game is when like the ball flies into the stands and like someone catches it in their glass of beer.
I do like going to baseball games because the glory of baseball games is you can sit there and have a beer and you have to pay attention to the sport once every 5 minutes. It demands almost no attention.
Dude, I got to say, though, one of my most American experiences ever, though, was going to an Oakland A's game on the 4th of July, and like they had like F-16s fly over the beginning, and I had like a chili dog and a beer, and I'm like, wow, this is the most American I've ever been. That was fun.
That says something because you're from the Midwest. The most American part of America.
Oh, well, thank you.
I don't know if that's a compliment. Anyway.
Depends on how you feel. I'll take it as one. Uh-oh. Watch out, score. Operation gets score, but he's invisible. Oh, but they can see him. Oh, but they're not going to do anything. Okay, that was interesting. Oh. What? Why not jump on score right there?
Well, because there was everybody in the top side, and they were
suppose.
going to get ulted and all die.
Thank you. That's why we keep you around. Set analysis.
All KT starting to group right now, turning their.
Oh, hello.
Why is Watch there?
I don't know. Goong is there too, though. Watch gets exhausted, gets taken down. And they're going to ult Goong right into the wall, too. Can they actually catch Cass? A nice play from Peekaboo, actually, just to secure that. No teleports for you, Goong.
No rift walking there, just stun locked and knocked around until his sorry end as Najin can't really do much of anything. OQ is on a brutal split push mission right now.
Well, unfortunately,
I mean, it is working.
The entire other team is also on a pushing mission. There's a teleport coming from KT. They just want to end it. With OQ on the other side of the map, they probably can. Equalizer goes down. Pura's there as well, too. But there goes the second Nexus turret. And I guess 30 seconds is all we needed after that pause. The game is over. KT takes a well-played but somewhat puzzling game one.
And at the end of the game, OQ is inexplicably in the middle of the base.
Yep.
I don't know where is he going. He valks in, heals himself, and then stands in turret shooting minions.
I don't know.
Well,
he was double lifting a bit there, I think.
Yes, he was double lifting a bit right there.
Case of the double lifts there. Well, good re-debut by Peekaboo here on KT Rolster, able to get a win in his first game. Well, I hope Najin wants to play in game 2, because it didn't seem like they really wanted to in game 1.
Well, I think they won't be playing Cassidy anymore, which was a lot of the cause of those issues. Of course, losing the 1v1 to KT's most threatening carry from Duke at the top side, also not doing them a whole lot of favors. So we'll see if they can bounce back.